But when we were born, we are so close to that spiritual realm. We have things that we might say. And if you could consider returning back for a moment to that beginning, like what it's like to be a baby, before you understood the meaning of words, before opinions took over your mind, like other people's opinions, that you came into this world in a void, the universe. You were actually part of the universe. And it reminds me of the book of Genesis, verses 1 and 2, where it states, in the beginning, God created the heavens and earth. And the earth was a formless void. At that time, each of us were connected to the truth of who we are. We were connected to that essence of being, that universal isness and allness of God as us. We're no more closer connected to it than then. But then we went through the door to this world, curious, seeking connection and comfort. But sometimes we need to go back and remember a little bit of who we really were. So let's look at Scripture. I'm going to be speaking from the book of Matthew, chapter 18, verses 1 through 3, and it states, "Now the disciples were hanging out with Jesus, and they said to him, 'Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?' He said," Jesus, "he called a child, whom he put among them, and said, 'Truly I tell you, unless you change and become like children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven.'" Unless you become like children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. You see, Jesus said we must be like children. That they come into this world closer to the infinite, closer to that infinite universe, closer to the infinite that is all of what there is in that moment. Now, in the book Revealing Word, our co-founder, Charles Fillmore, it's a book of metaphysical terms, which means beyond the physical. He says this about heaven. He said, heaven is a state of consciousness in harmony with the thoughts of God. That heaven is everywhere present. You see, heaven is right here. Heaven is right here. Right here where we are. Right where everyone is. And when we think about heaven, we must not be consumed with the world, or in other words, not be afraid of the world. We're called to let go of our fears, our judgments, and our perceptions. And then it's easy for us to just open the door.